I'm Matt. This is Project Inside Hope. We meet here every Sunday, 6 o'clock at 2300 Dumbarton Road. Project Inside Hope is a meeting. We meet every week. It's for people that have been incarcerated, and we take the meeting inside the jails, the recording anyways, inside the jails, so maybe give y'all some hope. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about self-obsession and like self-centeredness of our disease. So I think we'll start by going around and introducing everybody. We start over here.
Jeremy, I'm an addict.
Jeremy. Drew, alcoholic.
Drew.
Devin, addict.
Devin, I'm Cricket. I'm an addict too.
Cricket.
Brian, addict.
Hey, Ryan.
Lisa, addict.
Hey, Lisa.
John, addict.
John.
I'm Matt, an addict.
Hey, Matt.
Addict named Whitney.
Whitney.
Mike, addict.
Mike.
Big Willie K, addict alcoholic.
Big K.
Jonathan.
Floyd, addict.
Floyd. Kurt, addict.
Taylor, addict.
Taylor.
Tell him Cody.
Hey, Cody.
I'm Cody.
Hey, Cody.
I'm Roxanne. My son's an addict.
Hey, Roxanne.
Roxanne.
Okay, so real quick, how many people in here have been to jails and prisons? Okay, so everybody but two, and the other two are here for support. Roxanne is here pretty much every week.
'Cause she rocks.
She's a huge
And-
supporter. Yeah, she's awesome.
Junket.
So today we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna talk a little bit about self-obsession and like the self-centeredness of our disease. Start with Jeremy. Just cause. So tell me a little bit about how, like, in your active addiction, you were like real self-centered and it was all about you.
Well, I want when I want, how I want it. Like I'm an addict. Like when I start using, like I used to live and I live to use. And if I can't benefit from any type of relationship, then I'm probably not gonna waste my time being in it. Like the nature of the disease is just is selfish and self-centered and self-seeking. Like I didn't care about how people felt, and I wasn't interested in helping anybody. Just like my life consisted of how I could benefit myself. And today's not like that, man. Like I genuinely care about people today. And I feel better because of it. I remember in active addiction, I was so like hopeless and negative and just like spiritually bankrupt. And like, I don't know, today I did like a complete flip around, man. My life is good. I pass with that.
That's awesome. You know, obviously, like we see some changes once we get clean. Is that fair to say? Do you see some of that self-centeredness and self-obsession still pop up in like recovery now?
I do, man, but the difference is, while I'm, you know, in it, like I'm conscious and aware of it a lot of the time. A lot of the time I'm not, people had to call me on my shit, but, you know, like when I start obsessing about something or don't want to do anything, if it doesn't benefit me or something, like I'm conscious of it, you know, whether or not, I still, they don't get it fucked up, I'm still self-centered, you know, but I'm getting better, you know, I care more today, you know.
I think that's an accurate statement. What about you, Doug? What's up with you? How does your self-obsession and self-centeredness, how is it now compared to active addiction?
I'd say when I was using, everything revolved around that. I just had to have it at all costs. It's kind of like a newborn baby. You know, if it's hungry and it's crying, you gotta feed it. It's kind of like how my addiction was. So like when I start jonesing or, you know, feeling like I had to stop what I was doing and go get it. And it didn't matter what else was going on, that had to come first. I mean, if it was my mother's birthday, if a chore or something needed to get done, you know, whatever it was, if I had, you know, 2 weeks of laundry backed up, piled up on the floor, that's gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to go get my fix first. And then once I felt like I was straight, then I could maybe get something done. But yeah, it was just horrible. I mean, like he said, like when I came to the next day, I felt like I didn't have any purpose in life. I lived to use and used to live, and I'd use until, from when I came to that day until I passed out that evening or early into the next morning. And you know, would have to go out 2 and 3 times a day to get more. And that's how it was then. And now, with some clean time under my belt, you know, it's like, it's hard to fathom that I lived like that, because it's like, and now I'm actually eating food, and like, you know, food just tastes better and is enjoyable, whereas like before I wasn't even eating. I was like borderline anorexic. You know, giving, I care more about the people around me than I do myself. Like, I'd give somebody a shirt off my back even if it didn't fit them, you know. That's just the type of person I am. I'm a giver, you know. But when I was using, I was a taker, because, you know, my mind was just, you know, consumed with that sickness. So it does get better. It's just, you know, it's just with time. That's all it is, for real. And with that, I'll pass.
Thanks for sharing.
I think for the majority of us, like, we're a lot more compassionate today, clean, than we were using. Like, I know and I think that's a big part of it, is the stay out of self-obsession, is we have to be more compassionate, be more giving, be of more service, or else we're going to stay in that self-centered, selfish ways. I know for me, like, my self-centeredness and my disease, like, it got to the point where, like, I had tried to take my own life 4 times. And, like, my parents, like, they looked at me and they were like, don't you care, like, what it does to us, like, what it would put us through if you took your own life? And they got so bad, I looked them dead in the eyes and told them I really don't care. Like, I was just done. And I didn't care about anybody else besides myself. But, like, one thing that I think is important to emphasize is, like, that stuff can still, maybe not quite as bad, but the self-centeredness and self-obsession can definitely come up while we're clean too, in ways of self-pity or a sense of entitlement, because I think I put more work in the next person, but I see they get stuff back or they get a job or whatever, and I think, well, damn, why don't I get shit like that? I put in more work than them, or so I think. So, I don't know, Devin, what kind of ways do you see your self-centeredness come out in recovery?
In recovery?
Yeah.
First of all, my belief, I think recovery should be somewhat selfish with your recovery, you know what I mean, for yourself. But as they always say, to keep what you have is to give it away. So for me to hold on to it is selfish, to spread the love of recovery, to shed the experience, strength, and hope. And that's a battle, you know, with people, period, especially addicts. We're very selfish people. I know I am. So I definitely, in recovery, that's one of the things that I've learned is to be selfless, you know what I mean? And give back and love others, because you never know what they're going through. And I talked about it the other day, you know, I got a lot of stuff going on in my life, and it's one thing after another, right when you think everything's going good, you know, some things that I didn't take care of, or some things I didn't face back then are coming up now, and I ultimately think that God knows, He knows I have the tools now, so He's like, all right, let's just try this thing again, you know what I mean? But yeah, just giving back, and no matter what I'm going through, I have to remember that the next person is probably going through something even worse, or going through the same thing I've been through. So just to spread that love, man, and it can be very trying sometimes, because there's 2 things I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of my temper, and I'm afraid of getting high. You know what I mean? And usually the getting high part never comes up because I don't have the desire to use it anymore. But that temper is still there. That temper is very alive at times, and I have to walk away because of my selfishness. You know, sometimes I think somebody needs to get their butt kicked. You know what I mean? But who am I to say that? You know what I mean? They need their butt kicked. You know what I mean? Maybe maybe that's what's happening in their whole life. So that's, you know, maybe you need to hit them with a little bit of love or a hug or talk with them. And I go through some stuff. I got some crazy people in the house I'm with, and sometimes I'm like, what am I got myself into? You know what I mean? But at the same time, I realize that I'm here for a reason, and it'd be selfish for me to hold the things that I have and the resources and the knowledge and the wisdom. And the only way I can do that is by giving it away, and I try to do that the best I can. So I just leave my stuff aside and, you know, humble myself and go to this person or whoever or whatever situation is, or try to help out. I've learned, I was taught to once you get clean and get yourself together, is to, you know, to share your resources, your knowledge, your wisdom, your skills, you know, things that you have that God's blessed you with, to share them with others and stuff like that. And I've seen that you get blessed. You definitely do. You get your socks sometimes more than you'd even imagine. You might not get it when you want it. You know what I mean? Because that's the selfish way. Well, I just did this. I gave him $10. And, you know, all right, where's my 10 folds at? You know what I mean? You're looking up, waiting for, you know, $100 for your 10. But once you get out of that mindset, that selfishness, you know, self-centeredness, you know, it'll come to you in other different ways, man. And my thing is through y'all and the guys that are watching. You know, we can all be selfish and say, I don't want to be here. It's raining outside. I don't go outside and get wet. You know what I mean? I don't have to be here, but that's just being selfish. And somebody did it for me, so who am I to turn away somebody else that's another sick and suffering addict that may need to hear what I need to hear, or I might need to hear something y'all have to say. But it's time. It takes time with everything, man. That's what people don't understand. We want instant gratification. That's selfishness. We want it when we want it. Like Jeremy was saying, we want it right when we want it, you know. And everything takes time, and I've learned that. And sometimes I have to keep reminding myself that, you know, any problems going on in life, if you keep just doing the next right thing and keep pushing forward and let time be time and go forward, it plan itself out. You know, people would have that instant want to get mad or, you know, react off impulse, and 90% of the time it's not going to work out the way you want it to. If you just sit back and let everything plan out and take some simple suggestions and go to the people that have a little bit of clean time and ask them what they've done or what you should, maybe what you should do. But we're selfish, so we go to the guy that's been clean for 3 days, like, hey, what you think? You know what I mean? And the first thing he's going to say, well, I know exactly what we can do. You know what I mean? And that's selfish on your part for his recovery. You know what I mean? That's you going to a man, you know, or a woman that has less clean time, and you're going to go right to them, and you can ultimately, you know, be the reason why they got abused. But it's with a clear mind, but a drug addict's past, it's kind of hard to do some things sometimes. But you know, it is one day at a time. Keep coming back.
Yeah, one thing about recovery is like we're trying to find this new way of life, and we have to learn how to do that. Like, we can't get that instant gratification. We have to work towards it and grow over time. And like you were sharing about, you're afraid of your anger.
Mm-hmm.
What is that anger and that resentment? Like, who does that affect? Because it don't really affect the other person.
It affects me.
Exactly.
It affects me and my heart condition and my recovery. And the next person that might be watching it, especially if you have, you know, you're in a leadership position, or, you know, you have people that are following you or following your steps. You can't react like that.
Yeah.
Because it shows that person's our addiction or our addict ways, see that, and they're automatically like, well, it don't work, look at him, he just wild out, you know what I mean? Or it's a ripple effect, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it definitely affects me, and that's the first thing I always say, me first, you know?
Yeah.
Especially a heart condition, especially if you want to do this thing, because this is a family of love and respect and helping each other, and last thing you need to do is go out and blow up and beat somebody up and end up on the other side of that camera.
Watch us take.
Yeah, watch us take. That's me right
Right.
there. Yep. So.
Another thing I like that you shared, that I think is really important, is like, you never know what someone else is going through.
Yes.
You never know. Like, I mean, I just went to a funeral about 2 weeks ago that not a whole lot of people knew what was going on with her, but she took her own life through overdose, and no one really knew if she was nagged, no one knew if she used like that, if she did, I don't know either. I mean, I had no idea she was going through that depression and stuff. I wish I could have made a difference because I've been through it and now I'm on the other side. And it's all due to staying clean and working a 12-step program. Cricket, what do you got to say about self-obsession?
I got to say,
Self-centered.
I'm a selfish, self-centered, self-obsessed prick. And that's a real life story.
True story.
It's very true, man. That is an accurate statement, man. It's crazy because like I'm growing so much. I got 11 months clean now and like good recovery, clean time. You know, I've been working a thorough program, but like, you know, the disease of addiction is like rooted in self-centeredness and selfishness and self-obsession. And I like it when they won't lie when they say it's rooted in it, because I mean I got it bad, man. And I was sharing with some of y'all before we started filming. Like, I mean, I got it so bad where like the other day I thought somebody that I loved had relapsed, and like my first thought won't even. Damn, they are. That was my first thought was, well, how could she do this to me? That's my first thought. My first thought was, what the fuck is she? How could she do this to me?
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy because like when I was using, the world revolved around cricket, man. I mean, I'm like Jeremy, man. I wanted what I wanted, and goddamn it, I want it now. And whatever I had to do to get it, that's what it took. You know, I didn't care, but you know. And it's different now. It's different now in recovery. But like that thing still pops up, man. And like my sister-in-law, I was telling y'all, my sister-in-law died the other day from a direct result of overdose. And she, you know, she's got a 13-year-old son, my nephew. And you know, it really hit me hard because like when I think like, and don't get this fucked up, you will think about using again. It does not go away completely. So when like those thoughts come up, like I'll weigh my pros and cons of using. And like some of the cons I'll come up with is I'll lose my job, I'll lose my house, I'll lose trust, I'll lose respect, lose my girlfriend, my mom will stop answering the phone, you know. But all those things is me. That's shit, that's my selfishness self, man. That's all shit that I'm gonna lose to use. And that's selfish shit I never think I might die. I never think I'll break my kid's heart. You know, I never. That's crazy that we're so rooted in this thing, man. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. So like this disease, man, it wraps us up. Like she died, man. You know, I'm quite sure she just wanted to catch a buzz. You know, even though the drug she chose to use is a deadly drug, it's killing people every day.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's killing people every day. But that's just it, man. When we're in active addiction, how they say in the literature, our image of reality is distorted. I mean, it's crazy. We got this sixth sense of what reality is, man. It's not. The reality is not that the world revolves around cricket. That is not reality. I mean, and you know, thank God I'm clean and I can think things through like that. But like I said, when she died the other day, that's what hit me. Oh my God, how selfish of me. I never think about me dying and hurting other people. I always think about what I'm gonna lose if I use. That's selfishness, man. That's selfish as shit for real.
Yeah. I think you definitely hit some good, cool points, like of how it really is the root of our disease, the self-centeredness, and then also like a lot of us don't think like that. Like we don't think like when we start weighing out our pros and cons, whether we should go back out, we don't think like anything like how is my kids or whatever, how are they gonna feel about it. We think like things that affect us directly, not like how we are affecting other people. A lot of people don't think about it like that, so that's good. Like, is it fair to say that like the only way you stayed clean through something like that is because you have set up a good foundation beforehand?
You damn right, and I'll tell you something else too. It keeps me clean too, man. 'Cause like I'm aware, like when I'm being selfish or self-centered or self-obsessed, you know, why me? I'm like, since I work a program and got a good network of people, you know, I'm able to identify these things. And once I do that, like the opposite of selfishness is what? Selflessness, right? See, like in my work clothes, man, I'm working and I'm making good money today, but like this is something that I need to do, man, because people did it for me. You know what I'm saying? If I could have stayed there and made a couple $100, but it's just ain't. If I did that, I would feel guilty about it tonight when I went to bed. And guilty feelings and negative feelings. Negative feelings I use to cover up. So, you know, luckily I got a few months clean time and I can think a lot better than I was 11 months ago.
You think if you had
11 months ago, y'all wouldn't have seen my face tonight. 11 months ago, I'd been getting that money.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually, I'd probably been watching this tape with y'all.
You think if you had been like half-assing your program, you would still be clean through that loss?
Hell no, I wouldn't be clean through sunrise in the evening. Oh, good, without a doubt, man. Good question, man. Thank you.
All right, Brian. So I know you suffer a little bit of self-centeredness, like I do,
Same.
just a little bit.
Take a deep
So-
breath, baby, take a deep breath.
So what are some things you do to try to get out of that self-centeredness?
Well, man, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I really can't really think my way out of it, man. You know, like it just don't work like that for me. You know, I gotta act my way out of it. You know, and then acting, and then, you know, over a period of time, and you know, I mean, and you were at the meeting last night, and Sean was talking about, you know, essentially, like, I'm an addict, right? But like the drugs ain't my problem, man. You know, the drugs was my solution. You know, and one of the things this guy shared last night in the meeting, he was like, look, man, like my entire life, you know, I have been not wanting to feel the way that I felt inside. And so what I tried to do was fix, manage, and control things, you know, get everybody to do this. If they act this way, it'll make me feel like this, so I won't have to feel bad. Or if, you know, and then I found drugs, and it was like, man, that's the solution. Now I feel good. So then I had to like fix, manage, and control everything around me to get the drugs, because the drugs was my solution, you know. And but see what happens for me, like I come in recovery and like they take the drugs away, but I've been doing that shit so long that like the behavior's still there, man, you know. And I mean, it's just, you know, for me it's like just a daily thing, man. You know, I'm in a 12-step program, I do step work, you know, I just keep doing the right thing. And over time, it's not that I like wake up in the morning like I'm not gonna be selfish. It don't work like that for me. You know, it doesn't. You know, I just put one foot in front of the other, do the best I can, surround myself with people that are clean and recovered, and you know, like, and over time, as I begin to have like a greater God consciousness, then like something inside of me begins to guide me in my steps. And so then it's like I don't have to think about it. You know, my thinking changes. So then like automatically, it's like an automatic response. You know, maybe in the beginning, like I might have to be like, man, I shouldn't do that, and do it. But it just takes practice, man. You know, it's like anything. I don't just wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm not gonna do that no more. If this shit was that easy, wouldn't none of us be sitting right here.
Right.
You know, if I could just wake up and be like, damn, I stop getting the addict, stop getting high, and stop fucking controlling everything in my life and hurting the ones I love and all that, then like we wouldn't need this shit. You know what I mean? We could have just made the decision out of minute. But for me, it just ain't like that. You know, so. I mean, I just try to do the best I can. I wake up, I read my meditations in the morning, I talk to addicts, I text people, I go to meetings, you know, I just do the best I can to keep a conscious contact with God of my understanding on a daily basis. And in doing that, you know, as one day turns into two, and two turns into three, and three turns into a week and a month, you know, I look back and I see myself making decisions that, you know, 11 months ago, I wouldn't have been making, you know, because I wasn't guided by anything but selfishness and self-centeredness. That's all I was guided by. And so, you know, now I got something else guiding me. You know, it ain't me, it's y'all, and it's God, and it's however God manifests himself in my life, most of the time through you people, or through my sponsor, or through the step work, or through whatever. And, but don't get it effed up now. You know, I'm still selfish. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with my kids today, and like, this is how crazy I am, man. Like, my daughter will hurt my feelings, and I'll be wanting to hurt her feelings. She's 2. 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? And she'll hurt, you know, those of us that got kids know, like, your kids can hurt your feelings bad. You know, and they hurt my feelings, and I was like, man, shit, I want to, you know, I found myself, like, plotting the whole mastermind scheme on how to make her feel how I felt, type shit. You know, that's crazy, man, but that's what we do, you know? I mean, that's how, I mean, that's just being honest, you know, and then, like relationships, man. Like that's how the most place that my selfishness and self-centeredness manifests itself for me is in my relationship with my wife or with people that I, with my friends I'm a little bit more even, like, because I have genuine compassion, love for my friends. I don't really expect nothing out of them, but with my wife it's like, I'm gonna love you so you can love me, and so it's like I want her to do what I want so I can feel good about me, and it's just crazy. But thank God for this program because, the 12-step program I'm in, because, it's allowing me to not act in that all the time. And over some time, our relationship is better now than it's ever been, man. And that's a direct result of both of us, getting out of being self-centered and leaning more towards God-centeredness. And it's a process, man. At any given time, that's why I go to meetings and I talk to my sponsors and I do all the stuff that I do because I didn't get to start making decent decisions by it won't me. It was God, and I got to do the things that got me to that point. I got to continue to do that because if I stop doing it and thinking about it, and I'm just turn right back into that selfish attitude and we'll make the same selfish decisions again and again and again. So, but like I said, any given moment, I can turn right back into that, all about me. And, so that's my take on it.
Yeah, I can definitely relate when you said you're selfish in relationships. Yeah, I can relate to that. Like it sparked a thought too. Like I put expectations on people, and when they don't meet those expectations, like I'm pissed off and like thinking like, well, why the fuck didn't they do? Excuse my language. Why didn't they do what I think they should do? And then I talked to some people in my network that had some clean time, and I realized how self-centered and selfish I really am being. It don't matter what expectations I got for them. That don't mean nothing. They don't have to live up to my expectations. They gotta live up to their own. They gotta do what they think is right, not what I think is right. If I was living for someone else, then I'd be more screwed up than I am now. That's for sure. So, Lisa, what kind of you gonna pass?
She's just here to support those on the other side of that camera.
What you got?
Self-centeredness. Well, like everybody else, if I don't get my way when I want my, things, I get a little, I don't know what the word is for it. I want what I want, and I want it now, And I've just had some bad news before I got here this evening, so I was told one thing and then got told another thing, and now just things at home are going a little wrong, it's not going my way. So I really don't know what to really say. I'm gonna pass.
That's all right. The important thing is that you do. You're still doing what you're supposed to, still clean. How many of y'all can relate to this, right? I remember being locked up, and mind you, I did the crime. I got myself locked up. So my family, they don't get to see me for 2 years. And I'm getting mad because they ain't putting money on my books in time. How many can y'all relate to that? All right, a little bit of us. So that's pretty selfish right there. Like we don't even think like, oh, well they might have a life going on out there. I mean, it didn't seem like it when we were out there because we were off in our own little world. But they might have something going on out there. Just a thought. But how's your self-obsession occur in your life?
It's ironic that this should be the subject. The subject always ends up having to do with something that's going on with me. I had to deal with something, a big surgery Friday, and by Thursday, the addict in me was telling me, you know how to do time. Just go back to jail, let them medicate you up, just ride it out. And that would be so selfish as a granddaughter, a niece, a girlfriend, a daughter, that would have been the wrong thing for me to do. But that's what the addict in me was telling me to do. I literally was almost suited up in the long johns waiting for my bondsman to walk through the door because I was asking them. I was pushing them to revoke my bond because I know how to do time. I've done time. I've done collectively 9 years of time. I've given the state my flesh for 9 years. I was a number. And, but I don't know how to do life. And that's why I'm here. And that's why, even though there's a front door and a back door to our house, I don't walk out that back door every day. I walk out that front door. I walk all the way down to this church. And I do what I gotta do to chase my recovery. And, you know, if people are like, chase your drug like, or chase your recovery like you chased your drug, shoot, if you said you were around the corner and there's no corner and you're not there, I'd be like, look, where there's one, there's 100 of you, click, and I'd call the next person. I did not wait. And I was very selfish and have been very selfish, tried to take my life, wasn't successful with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't even do it right. The way I see it, I'm on 8 lives right now. And so here I am with this situation that's coming up. I'm scared. Physical and emotional pain is a trigger for me. And all I'm thinking about is revoke your bond and go back to jail, sit on your butt, eat some canteen, and do that. And, you know, I'm living in a recovery house with a bunch of very colorful characters, I say that nicely, who are all early in recovery, which makes them by nature very selfish people. So I had to realize that because of what's going on with me, I had been isolating in my head, and I was coming off as maybe a little indifferent. At first I thought, F them, they just don't like me because I don't care if they like me, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't stress it, I really didn't. But then, through the suggestion of somebody who's an OG in this, she was like, well, maybe you need to look at it and see what they're seeing. And when I did, and I approached my household full of freshly recovering addicts and said, hey, look, I'm sorry guys, I'm having this situation. I don't think my problems are any more real than your problems. I know we all have problems, but I have a tendency to isolate. And once I laid it out on the table, things became a little more copacetic, you know what I'm saying, living wise, and it made it easier for what I had to deal with on Thursday and Friday, which for me, I, by the way, dealt with surgery without medication, like, and I would never come up on something that challenging sober. In fact, that's how I caught my case, is over finding out that I had to go do this. I looked at my people and I was like, I ain't getting tonight. And I ended up with a handful of charges. I had everything but the kitchen sink and my logo when they pulled me. And I almost hit somebody who decided to follow me and call the cops. And I'm looking over as I'm getting arrested and she's still flailing her arms. And I'm like, B, I'm getting arrested. Can you let it go? And I'm all angry, not thinking, I almost killed this woman. I didn't care. I was just all up in me, and it's always been like that. And when I look on it now, and when I see my family come to visit me, I'm so lucky. Is it the night stuff where you make amends? I'm not there yet, right? I'm so lucky that, I'm not there yet, I'll admit it, but I'm so lucky that I even have people to make amends to. And it's so true, you get, but even like, here I am, I'm on the outside. I know it's just like being in jail. A lot of y'all are living together and you're not, it's not copacetic. You don't want to be living next to this person. This person annoys you. This person's got canteen flaunting in everybody's face. You paying $3 a day, the struggle, the fights for the phones, all those things. You have all those same relationship struggles out here. You just got to learn how to deal with them without using. So I think my biggest thing was I had to stay in the day. Because if I look towards Thursday, that was pre-surgery prep and Friday was surgery. And if I kept on looking that way, the addict in me was going, cling, cling, I know how to do time, bring it. I mean, I literally almost begged them to revoke my bond. And they're looking at me like, are you crazy? And I'm like, dude, I know how to do time. I don't know how to do life. So, I feel good today. I feel good to be sitting here like I should be in bed, honestly. I overextended all weekend. But something else somebody pointed out to me was, if you can't in that day do it for yourself, focus on people around you and their problems. So I really got into everybody else's problems towards the end of the week, and I was asking them, how are you doing, what's going on? Even though in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm screwed, this is coming up. But I really tried to kind of throw myself into everybody else's stuff and give a little piece of me to these people when I'm dying inside. And I did it, man. I did it, and I did it, and I made it through, and I'm sitting here 2 days after, and all weekend I thought that I would lay in bed and wallow in my own self-pity. I mean, that's where I was. I thought, all right, you know what? I never get to sleep in anyway. I'm gonna sleep all weekend and just wallow in self-pity because of this horrible situation that has been put on my plate, and I get mad at God when God really didn't do any of it. I did every single bit of it because of my active addiction. So, and that's the other thing. You're on that phone when you're in jail and you're trying to run everything. You want your lawyer to answer right away. You want your family to put money on your books. And if you say, I want what I want when I want it, I want what I want when I want it yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I'm that impatient. We are the microwave age where we want instant gratification. And it's not like that. You got to work for it. And so I feel great that, I worked a selfless program this week, and really just, all I had to do was not pick up, find a network of people, stay with a herd of good people, and keep coming back. And that it was simple. But I'm so selfish, and I'm unique. I'm the unique addict who in 2001 was like, this is a cult. There must be drinking some Kool-Aid or something, But of course, that's our selfishness. We all think that we're different and unique. We all live the same story. It might be a different version. It might be a different drug of choice. But we're all the same type of people. We're complicated people working a simple-ass program, excuse my language. And it's just so simple, and I feel so silly that I didn't get it until now. But I definitely, that is so applicable to me today. Because I was real. I mean, Wednesday, the junkie in me was going, I almost called my bondsman myself, like, hey, will you come lock me up, man? And I didn't know, because that wouldn't have been the good thing, the good daughter, the good girlfriend, the good granddaughter. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother's birthday's tomorrow. This time last year, I was in the hospital on life support, So, and it was my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. I died, I'm intubated. Breathing from a machine. So today I'm glad that I can some type of joy. I'll never forget, this is the last thing I'm saying, then I'll pass it on. My mom looked over at me one day, and I was so active in my addiction. She looked over at me in the car and she said, I cannot wait to have my daughter back. Because I was just so gone. And I was such a shell. There was nothing there. There was no heart. There was nothing. I was a shell of what I am. I'm a good, loving person, but I wasn't when I was using. And she just said, I can't wait to get my daughter back. And when they look at me now, they're full of joy and love, and I'm proud to be that. So with that, I'll pass.
You made some good points. When we're stuck in that self-obsession, we don't think of consequences. And doesn't it feel good to exceed our own expectations that we got for ourselves, to do better than we thought we could?
I want a cookie. I want to know my cookie.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And for a lot of us,
or a honey bun. Throw a honey bun my way.
icy white.
Not today.
For a lot of us, we're not used to this new way of life. We're not used to things going right. We're not used to everything we're living right now is new. So we get uncomfortable and we want to go back to what we're comfortable with, which is either jails or running the streets or whatever. So that's how a lot of us feel. We have to get out of that. We have to put some work in so we don't actually make the action to go back to that. Mike.
What's up?
I know, I'm sorry to put you on blast, but I know you deal with some self-obsession, self-centeredness. Tell me about it.
That's 2 months ago, it really stuck out to me, the root of our disease is the self-centeredness and the self-obsession. And I've really been trying to work on that since then. In some of the literature, it also states that alcohol and drugs became the great persuader. Like, if we didn't do alcohol and drugs, we wouldn't come to the realization that we are these type of people, or come to a relationship with our higher power. So I think that's important. You know, we should be thankful for that program in itself. And, you know, just working on self-obsession, all of us are here, you know, trying to do some type of service to help other people, you know, work in that way. And some other literature talks about the triangle of self-obsession, with anger, fear, and resentment. And if you look at all three of those, man, like, that describes my life perfectly. Like, I'll use over things that make me angry, things that I'm scared about, and things that I keep in my head too long. And those resentments, they say, will take you out quicker than anything else. And that's absolutely true for me. I hold on to things so much, and, you know, it's only hurting me in the long run. And, you know, I just want those people to feel the same way that I do, and it's just, I don't know, it's a vicious cycle that's never ending. And I'm trying to work on those things too, and, you know, it's still difficult with those, but I'm trying to get better about it.
In progress, not perfection.
That's right.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to the resentment piece, and Ryan shared on a little bit too. Like, when someone hurts me, I want them to feel what I felt, maybe even more. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and like, one thing that someone told me about resentment, and I'm sure some of y'all have heard it, is holding resentment is like me drinking some poison and expecting the other person to drop dead.
Poisoning yourself.
It just don't work like that. So you brought up some good points. Big Willie K.
I'm Big Willie K. I'm mad at
Big Willie K.
Let me first go off by saying I got 60 days today, mother.
Yeah, Willie!
Touching on expectations, I've always heard this, that expectation is a resentment on hold. Like, I'm expecting you to do something, and you don't do it, I'm pissed off because you didn't do it. When I should really be taking a look at my piece and why I'm getting pissed off. You know, it's so self-centeredness, because I had a situation arise this last week where I thought getting drunk and throwing myself in the freeway would be the best option for my, you know, for my recovery. Nah, that's not cool, bro. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to have those thoughts. You know, I'm thinking I'm the big center of attention. Everything revolves around me. No, it really fucking doesn't. You know, I'm sorry, my language is probably not the best, but it really doesn't. You know, the world's not going to, you know, stop revolving just because something bad happened to me. You know, the world's just going to keep spinning. It's up to me to deal with it. You know, I also heard last night in the meeting patience and all this stuff. You know, my patience goes as far as if there's a soup in my box, oh, that soup's getting eaten. If I say I'm gonna save it, it's gonna get ate in like an hour or so. I'm not gonna lie, I have no patience.
Willpower.
Yeah, and like the whole thing, calling your peoples on your phone, like, get me out, get me out. Each time I've had a bond, I've chilled. Like, I'm not getting bonded out. They're not spending the money on me. It's the only time I've been bonded out. I got court Tuesday, so I'm not looking too forward to that. I also said yesterday, like, maybe it'd be better if I get locked up. Hell no, it wouldn't be better if I get locked up. I don't like it in there. That's sick thinking, it really is. It's like, I'm thinking I'll be better somewhere else where it's not that good. And putting all the stress on other people, not thinking, well, maybe they wouldn't like it like that. You know, as far as the killing yourself shit goes, I look at it, I have to put this in perspective. I don't think my mom wants to bury me at 21 years of age and be thinking outside while I'm in the casket, why? What did I do? Where did I go wrong? What happened? Where did I teach him wrong? There's always two sides to the story. At least my side of the street is sort of clean. I mean, like the other day, this girl I had a relationship with called me, her friend called me, bitching me out because I've been messing with other women. Well, damn, if you weren't getting drunk all the damn time and worried about me, supporting me, maybe things would have worked a little differently. And it made me really mad. And her mom called me like, you're going to pay. What the hell am I going to pay for? Your daughter isn't drunk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. But I mean, really, I try to give, you know, the benefit of the doubt. I'm a little selfish here and there, but as far as my recovery goes, me first. I'm sorry. You second, because I gotta make sure I save my recovery first, because if I don't, and worry about the next man, I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to get high. I'm going to be somewhere around here where I probably don't want to be. I mean, I almost got kicked out, and I was thinking like this. I'd rather live in Henrico than go to Dinwiddie, because if I go to Dinwiddie, I'm gonna get high. I mean, point blank serious. I can't live in Dinwiddie no more. Dinwiddie's my old stomping grounds. Those are just not the good days I need to go back to. Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you for keeping me in, though. Love you. But I made a decision to keep on these night meetings, though. I really like Inside Hope because, at one point we were all sitting there thinking, man, we got ourselves some shit this time, didn't we? And, I like that piece where you touched on, I got locked up because you did something. If I got locked up, how did I get here? Because of me. What did I do to get myself here? It's not like, oh, the probation violated me because I decided I like driving too much. Nah, it's because I like to drive too much on a suspended license. I mean, I looked at it in another way. I got really sad because my parents had to get rid of my car because, I got too many tickets on it. I'm sad that the car's gotta go. Like, fuck my life, the car's gotta go. But I should really be looking like, well, it's probably a good thing that the thing's going because I can't drive a racer successfully. I like to be Mr. Speed Racer over here, trying to race everybody with my car is probably the slowest one in the block.
You touched on something that she was also sharing about. How many of us in here actually wish we were still locked back up at times? Like at some point in our lives, we were out on the streets and we were actually thinking to ourselves, man, I'd rather be locked back up. I know I have.
I used to. I ain't gonna do that all the time.
Yeah. And a lot of us in here, because we're living right, we're blessed to not have to feel like that anymore. We know that this life we're living now is better than we were living locked up. Like when I was out there using, I wasn't too sure that was any better than being locked up.
It's in a prison.
Yeah. So, John,
I'm on TV now.
Your phone hasn't gone off, so I know you're being a little less self-centered today. So what you got on that?
Oh, it's killing me, though.
Yeah, it might be, but he's going back.
Six notifications.
He's been doing it.
I know.
How many notifications you got?
What you got, John?
I don't know, man. The past 2 weeks, I've been slipping bad. Losing focus all the way around. And I probably wouldn't notice it or pay attention to it if people want to warn me about it. It's frustrating because I don't want to go back out there. I don't want to go back in there and wait for a bond, get in front of a judge either. I'm so close of doing good, but then I'm even closer to fucking up. It's aggravating like a motherfucker, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Some groups that sit in, man, I listen to them, but it goes in one ear out the other. I don't know, they just tell me to be honest, that's why I'm sitting talking.
Thanks for sharing.
For yourself.
I'm lost for real at this point. Like, I couldn't tell you up from down right now. The only thing good is I haven't got high. Like somebody tells me all the time, 2 seconds away from getting high, 3 seconds away from going to jail. So, I am keeping myself in check to a certain point, but it's almost like it's like a time bomb getting ready to go off. Because I really don't talk a lot. I really don't share a lot. And usually half the time I share, I'm so bouncing around with it that sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying for real. But yeah, I'm in a bad spot, man. I'm not gonna lie. Gotta pass.
Thank you,
Sharon.
You know,
Stick and stay.
I heard in a meeting recently, actually, and he was sharing about praying for acceptance. And that's really helped me ever since I've heard that, and I've tried to put that into practice. And like that, it kind of takes me out of that self-centeredness. Like when I don't get what I want out of a certain situation, or I don't get the outcome I'm looking for, if I pray for acceptance beforehand, usually it's easier to deal with it, and I'm more at peace with it. And I don't have a resentment towards the other person because the outcome didn't go the way I wanted it to go or something like that. So I don't know, that really stuck with me. What you got on self-centeredness?
I mean, I can relate to everything everybody said, man. I mean, I'm the same way. You know, I want what I want. You know, if I can't fucking have it, I'm gonna, you know, be an asshole. You know, I definitely try to, you know, put people in positions where I want them to do what I want. And when I don't get it, you know, shit just don't feel right. So, I mean, basically what I focus on now, man, is I got a little bit of clean time. The obsession, the compulsion is gone to rip and run every day, constantly. So I try to focus on what the hell made me that way, what made me want to use to keep all them feelings and, you know, all that shit up off me. So people is my biggest thing, man. People and God, man. You know, I look for people the same way that I look for good dope. You know, I look, because what I've noticed, man, people can have recovery, they can be clean, but their recovery is some shit that I don't want. So what I do is I find some people that I see that, like, man, they do got some shit I want. They're acting the way that I want to act, man. So let me see what I need to do or whatever, you know, and definitely have people look at me, man. Like I tell people all the time, man, say something to me if you see me doing something out of the way, crazy, whatever. So that's what I look for, man. I look for people that are, you know, that's the shit I want, man. Because just being clean, just, that don't fucking cut it. That's the start of it. Like, I've been pretty good lately. I had a thing come up, my kid's mom, that's probably been the closest I've been to thinking about using the past 4 months or whatever. But I took the program suggestions, I talked to some people, and when I started hearing this person, you know, I always think back to that, you know, if somebody says I'm an asshole, you know what, that might be your opinion, you know, but if 2, 3, 4, 10 people are saying that shit, yeah, I'm probably an asshole. You know, I gotta take a look at that shit. So, you know, I talked to a bunch of people, and if they tell me I'm an asshole, man, I gotta check it out. So that's kind of what I do when I'm having some issues, man. I've gotten better at letting people into my life, letting people into my brain, because when I deal with my own shit in my brain, I've already figured everything out, and it's fucking clusterfuck. So I talked to some people, and it gives me some clarity, man, and especially talk to God, man. That just to get that up off me and let Him have it, not me. I don't want to be like, you want to deal with that shit. That shit helps, man. Sometimes when I lay down at night and do that, man, I can sleep peacefully through the night without dwelling on all that shit that I got going on upstairs. Because that's what got me here, man. I fucked up ass thinking. So things are good right now, man. And I just listen to what people tell me to do. And I'm not that type of person. I'm a motherfucker. Whatever I do is the best thing ever. You know, so for me to take some suggestions from somebody that I might not even like, I don't respect, you know, that's big for me, man. So that's kind of where I'm at.
You said something I absolutely love, and that was, he said he chases people that have something he wants, and he wasn't talking about materialistic things. He was talking about how they act, how they carry themselves, how they treat other people, like just the principles they practice in their daily lives. I absolutely love that, because that, I think, is like a huge key into growing and recovery, not just staying clean for a little while. We're running short on time, so I'm gonna try to speed it up if y'all can, because I definitely want to get to Roxanne and Cody to get that aspect of it. Kurt, what you got?
I'm just gonna share on my obsession part of it, because I relapsed at the beginning of the month, you know. By all outward appearances, I was doing great, except for one key factor. You know, I was not participating in meetings like I should have been. You know, I wasn't calling my sponsor. I started secluding myself from people, and then like kind of just focusing on relationship. You know what I mean? I was kind of using that as my recovery, you know, and it slowly just got worse and worse, and then all the feelings that I was feeling about my mom dying and everything that's going on in my life, just at one point, you know, the PO told me, "You're good, you don't gotta come see me for another 3 months," and I was like, all right, cool. And from that point, I was obsessing on going to get high, and like once I got this shit in my head, I just didn't stop until I got it, you know. I had to actually find someone to find this dude's number to be able to go do it, you know. And it was crazy because I wanted him to be out of the network and everything like that, like so no one would know, and, you know. And I was so close to staying out there, you know. I got high and, you know, I called some people immediately after it happened, you know. And before I would have done that, like obviously I was listening to something, you know, that's going on, because in the past I wouldn't even care. When I got locked up, that saved me. When I just did my bid, that saved me. You know, so I'm glad I did that time. You know, and yeah, I don't want to go back, but I mean, I'm not gonna neglect that part of my life to where I am now. You know, that made me where I'm at right now. But like the obsession part of it, man, I just like, man, when I went to go do that shit, I just was so obsessed with it. I could not let it go. Nothing mattered. I didn't care about dad, my mom, you know, fucking my sister, my girl, nothing, none of y'all. I didn't give a fuck. Like, I wanted to get high. I wanted what I wanted, and I wanted it then. And I went and I did it, you know. And that's how I am. I do 110% in anything I do. And that shows you right there, you know. I mean, I could have picked up the phone and called a sponsor, called somebody, you know. But I didn't, because I knew what they would say. I knew that y'all would, if I called one of y'all, I knew one of y'all would talk me out of that shit.
That's why you never
So I did, and I was like, man, screw that, I want to get high, you know? So that's, you know, that's where I'm at now. I'm kind of taking the relationship and we're doing, you know, we're putting it on the back burner, and I've been calling my sponsor, I've been doing step work for the first time in my life, and, you know, and getting the feelings out, you know, I'm starting to contact people more often. I'm still need to, you know, reach out a little bit more, but it's better than what it was. You know what I mean? I'm in a better spot than I was, and I'm not secluding myself so much. I don't make it to too many meetings. I make it to what I can, because I mean, my bills, I have to work. And I know they say, oh man, just give it to God, you know, he'll get you through. Yeah, well, I mean, I gotta make money to be able to pay these bills, or I'm, you know. And so that's a big thing for me too, you know. That's a hard
God's with you
suggestion
all
to try and
day,
take. I know he is. He's always with me. But it's like some people be saying like, oh, you don't need to work all the hours you work. It's like, I mean, I really do. Like, I've sat down and had to go over my fucking whatever, how much money I make to be able to afford everything, like the bills and the court costs. And looking at it for real, it's because I want what I want. I want my license back. If I want my license back, I gotta work 2 jobs and do all that shit. If I just don't want my license back, I can just, you know, I can cut the other job out and I'd live comfortably. But me being an addict, I want what I want, you know? I don't know. All that shit ain't gonna make a bit of difference, man. All that money, the rent payment, and all that shit, you can kiss that shit goodbye. If you don't do nothing but work and you don't take care of yourself for your recovery, it don't matter how much, because guess what, you ain't gonna pay that shit, you ain't a piece of it when you go to jail.
We hear it all the time.
So I can relate, you know what I mean? That shit got me high 3 times.
Then all you're paying is canteen and rent.
Yeah, then I ain't paying nothing. And guess what, I'm more than that. No more to get my life together.
They're $3.
We hear it all the time, like if we don't put our recovery first, that everything else don't matter, because we're not gonna be clean and everything's gonna be out the window. And I mean, I think Kurt can attest to that. We're running out of time. Does anybody else have anything to say real quick? Roxanne, or you want to say something, Cody?
Yeah, I'm gonna say something real quick. I'm Cody, I'm an addict.
Cody.
And I don't wanna go too deep in this, just say something real quick. Like, the thing that helps me with my self-centeredness is basically just everything. I wanna make sure everything has a meaning to it, you know, and everything that I do and say, you know, has a meaning to it, and you know, and it actually means something to me and people around me. And you know, just like the recovery and all that, helping another person, it really goes a long way. Like when you get in recovery, you help the newcomers, you know, you talk to your sponsor, just help everyone around you, and just make sure that everything you do has a meaning to it. And that's what helps me, you know, stay away from my self-centeredness as a little bit more every day. And that's what I want to share.
Thanks for
Thanks,
sharing.
sir.
You got anything real quick, Roxanne?
I'm just glad I'm here with y'all.
We
Glad
glad
you-
you.
Glad
Everybody's
to
doing
meet you.
good, and Jonathan's gonna be good. We'll have a talk with him.
Right?
There you go.
Alright, we gotta wrap it up, but this is, again, this is Project Inside Hope. It's to carry the message, to the people who are still incarcerated.
We love
When you get
guys.
out, come and join us. We're at 2300 Dumbarton Road, 6 o'clock every Sunday.
Close it up.
Circle up.
Jeremy, take us out, man.
Have a moment of silence for the sick and suffering addicts, inside and outside the circle, followed by the weak version of the Serenity Prayer. Who are we not?
God, grant us serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just as we're dead, keep coming back. It works if you work it, you die if you don't, so work it, it lives.